A lot of people in the comments and elsewhere say they don't want to become a pro because it will ruin their love for photography. Valid point, we'll get to that. But the reason I'm making this video is because I saw a video by a great YouTuber called Lucy Lumen. Love her channel. It's more film photography focused. But she's a professional creator, professional photographer, whatever you want to call her. But she's going down that walk in life. She does a great job. Vlog's very interesting. I think she used to write for F-Stoppers, which is where I found her. Can't quite remember though, so apologies. But there's no pretense. There's no like, look at me. It's just a very matter-of-fact channel. Very good. Love it. And she talks about moving into photography and whether it ruined her love for the craft, the art, the hobby, when you have to make money from it. And I think it's a great concept to be looking at here. And that's what we're going to look at. I, of course, was a hobbyist first. I had no intention for this to escalate to this. Much like the YouTube channel, it was a bit of, kill some time during lockdown. But there we go. Does becoming a pro ruin photography for you? And I want to look at this. I'm going to give you my opinion, and I want to hear your opinion in the comments below. Now, there's a few things I need to give you as bits of information about myself first. I have never felt like conforming in my life. I was going to be a professional classical musician, then I was going to be a professional athlete, and then a professional photographer. They're the three career paths I have chased in my life to varying degrees of success, this one having worked out the best so far. I've got no interest in having a 9-to-5 job. I've got no interest in, all the generic, it's not for me. I'm all about enjoying my life. I don't feel any obligation to follow the norm. I just want to have a good time. And I think that's valid. If you're sitting there going, I need 2.5 children, 2 cars, a 3-bedroom house and a mortgage, and to go to 9-to-5 job and get my clock when I retire, that's great. Do what makes you happy. But I think it's important that I tell you where I'm coming from before I tell you the whys and the hows. Now, as an amateur hobbyist photographer, I went out with my camera and I took pictures of stuff. Pretty bad pictures, but pictures of stuff. Very, out I went, bit Egglestonian in my taste. I went and did that. I had a great time. The problem was my job got in the way of it. So at 7 every morning, I got up, I got ready for work. I went to work, I did a job, which I didn't really, it wasn't a bad job. I was no way in a bad job. It was a cool job. But it wasn't photography. And I thought about photography all day. I got home, I was tired, and I did a bit of photography or reading forums. But I didn't have that much time to do photography because 45 hours a week, I was at a job. When I left that job, I suddenly had all of the hours, all of them, to do photography. But I had the added pressure of making money. Now, for a lot of people, that's where the deal breaker comes in. That's where it all goes horribly south. Well, I don't want to make money with my hobby. But I think that making money with my hobby is less painful than going to a boring job 9 to 5 every day. And yes, there is a gross difference between what I do day to day as a photographer professionally compared to what I do as a hobbyist. As a hobbyist, where's my camera? I grab my camera, I head out the door, take my pictures, come home. It's done. As a professional, that is part of the job. I still go and take my pictures. I do them in the studio now because I prefer still life, but I come in here and I take my pictures. This week we did 2 shoots. Great. That's 16 hours of shooting. That is more than I could ever do as a hobbyist. Add to that, I have not unlimited resources, but I have fair means to throw at it because it's my job. I have a decent chunk. I want to go and do something cool. I go and do something cool. I want to go and rent a large format digital sensor. I can go and do that. I want 50 Broncolor Scoros. I can go and do that. I want a stylist and a crew and a retoucher. I can go and do that. Couldn't do that in my day job though. One, because it doesn't make as much as being a photographer does, but also it's not tax deductible. And we'll get into that argument another time. So I got my, my 16 hours of shooting, but there are other things I have to do. There are other things. I had to spend one day planning that, which is kind of fun. I like that. That's not really a bad thing. I had to spend one day split up into bits doing budgeting and paying of invoices. So out of my week, I spent 8 hours doing day job stuff. How I class day job, because I used to work in admin, I worked as a project manager, there was a lot of spreadsheets. I spent an entire day doing that. I then spent another day doing marketing. So I spent 16 hours, and these are very rough numbers by the way, 16 hours doing office work, 16 hours shooting, and 8 hours planning shooting. I still think that is a far better spread of time being a creative than working an office job and then coming home to do this. Now, the flip side for me, and where it gives me a slight different maybe edge perhaps, is that I make considerably more money doing this, photography, than I did working in an office in London. Being a project manager pays well, but not as well as being a commercial photographer does. I also have the YouTube stuff I do. This is the 1st of May today, May the 1st. Filming my entire month's content today. I quite enjoy doing this. I've got a day's editing of this to do. I love the editing. Editing is my favourite part of video. I just love editing video. So has it ruined my love? And I'd say no, because it's actually, if anything, allowed me to love it more. Now, when people have children, they have their first child and they love it with all their heart. And when a second one comes along, they wonder how they're going to divide that love up. But what actually happens is you just love more than you thought you could. And it's kind of the same for photography for me. I love photography. The more I do it, the more I love it. The more I can do it, the more I love it. The more shoots I get, the more I love shooting. It doesn't get divided up by the number of jobs I have with a set amount of love. It doesn't work like that. I just get to do it more. So if you're sitting there going, I'm not sure if I want to make my hobby my career, it might ruin it for you. From my point of view, it's only made me love it more. And it's allowed me to enjoy it more. It's allowed me to create better work, to create work that's more personal to me, and to fund bigger projects because I now have the means and the time to do that. I don't have any hobbies anymore. There's no hobby. I don't go home and go, right, I'm going to go and do my hobby tonight, because I do it all the time. And in no way does that make me love it less. At no point have I thought I'm fed up of photography, I'm going to quit. I just enjoy it more and more each time. So hopefully if you're in that fearful place, this gives you a little bit of reassurance that it's not as bad as the internet commenters make it out to be. It doesn't have to ruin it. Of course, having a successful business makes it more enjoyable. I'm sure if you're sitting there going, I can't afford rent, that is not as enjoyable. But then if you lose your day job and you can't afford rent, does that make photography worse? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know everybody's opinion on this. It's a subject I'm really interested in because I've really committed to photography. And if it does go wrong, I'm not quite sure what my exit strategy is. But there we go. Maybe I'll be a full-time YouTuber and we can start doing a daily vlog. Who knows? I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.